Hello YouTube, Dave here again. One of my goals for 2022 is to spend a bit more time dedicated to making videos that I just enjoy making. I love doing reviews, and I'm thankful for the stuff that I get, that gets sent to me for reviews, but it kind of pushed away my ability to work on other videos or other series that I just really, had fun and enjoyed doing. Not that I don't have fun doing the reviews, but sometimes it's nice to do something other than like, reading a book and trying to get a video out within a few days. So one of the things that I enjoyed making videos for in the recent past was some of my replica belts. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I was a huge wrestling fan before I ever got into RPGs. So I don't want to like overfill the channel with like wrestling content, but it's something that I enjoy, something that I like talking about. And I do have a few belts in my collection now, and I've done a few videos on some of them, but there's a bunch more that I never got around to. So today, this is the chronologically from the reviews that I did before with the Undisputed, and then the commemorative versions of the Universal and Intercontinental. This was the next belt that I got chronologically, and it was a design that I wasn't huge on when it first came out, but it wasn't around very long, and I kind of prefer it to the version that replaced it. So what we're looking at is the 2013 WWE Championship. This was the version of the championship that was debuted by The Rock the night after Elimination Chamber in 2013. And this was only held for, this was the belt that was only used for like a year and a half. So it debuted in February of 2013, and in August of 2014, it was retired to make way for the current network logo versions, which themselves are almost 8 years old at this point. So it's kind of interesting to see if we'll get some updated new belts or new designs, because 8 years seems to be close to the max that modern belts have last for. I mean, the frickin' spinner belt lasted for 8 years. So it'll be, I don't know, it's just, hearsay and conjecture at this point. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. So this was a design, like I said, I wasn't keen on at first, but I was looking at, like, there were some really good sales on the website, and I wanted to get like a belt that I could put side plates on. Because with the commemorative belts, the side plates are all one solid piece. The only way to remove the center disc would be to literally cut it out and destroy it, which I don't want to do. I've seen people do it, and they do a good job of it, but I'm not interested in doing that. And what I'd really like to, I'll say what side plates I'd like to get maybe at the end. I think one of the two sets that I'm interested in doesn't exist yet. Hopefully it does at some point. That would be great. But anyway. Yeah, so, but as I was looking at it, I was looking at like the network logo, and I just kept going back to this belt. And I was just like, there was just something about this design. And going back and watching like the reveal video when The Rock first debuted the belt, and like the moment with like Daniel Bryan beating Cena at SummerSlam in 2013, only to have like the rug pulled out from under him. This was the belt that Daniel Bryan won at WrestleMania 30. And that was a huge moment, right? And this was also the belt that Lesnar won and retired, but this was from the match where he basically squashed Cena in the main event of SummerSlam 2014. So yeah, just kind of looking at that, like, there was a lot of really cool moments involving this belt, and I just started to like look at it closer, and there's just something about it that I actually like, honestly, genuinely like. I don't know, but let's just go ahead and we'll take a look at it here in a little bit more detail. So on the strap, we just have the WWE scratch logo, stamped into it. Like, this is obviously imitation leather tooling, because this is an imitation leather strap. But you have like the diamond pattern going around it. The diamond pattern isn't produced the most faithfully, admittedly, but again, I don't care that much. It still looks fine for me. Then we have our side plates. This was one of the major determining factors for me when I was looking for a belt that I wanted to be able to change side plates for, because the stock side plates I like a lot more on this belt than the current network logo versions. So you have like the circular disc, and you got like the gem border going around it. That's fine. Like, that's what the current belts have. So like, there's no difference there. But the actual like design here, on the changeable disc. I like this a lot more. So you've got like the crown at the top there, and I don't know, crowns just, you know, seem like they fit a championship belt, like a world championship belt. So I really like that. You've got the WWE logo, and then you have like this red globe, and the red color actually looks really cool, but you also have land masses behind it. So the globe actually features like terrain, like actual globe features, which the current belts don't do. They just have the network logo, no crown, the gems go all the way around, but they have just the network logo on a red globe with like the latitude and longitude lines, but no features, like no continents, no nothing. So on this side plate, you've got North and South America, a little bit of Africa, a little bit of Europe, and you got like Greenland up there. And then on the other side, you have Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Maybe Antarctica's at the bottom there. You know, you can barely see it, but it's there. And I just like that. In my opinion, if you're going to have a globe on a championship belt, it should have terrain, right? It should have continents. It should have some sort of landmass. Even if it's wrong, you know, just have something. Now, with the universal title, maybe it makes sense. Like maybe maybe the planet's Mars, you know, because that's part of the universe. So like, you know, you could almost justify it that way, but just in general, I just like the fact that there's just more design on this belt than the current network logo version. So the center plate here, we've got, it is similar to the current belts, but there are a couple of differences. Obviously we've got the scratch logo, and the scratch swoosh is all individual stones instead of like paint or like the clear epoxy resin that the current belts have. Even the ones on TV use like the resin, because there have been times where a piece is just completely fallen out. So you'll have like just this like gold like trapezoid in between like the parts of the W or off to the side or whatever. So it's interesting. And you know, it looks okay, but I kind of like these stones. And even though these are like the stock like plastic stones that you get from WWE shop, the circular ones, like the little circular white gems, and especially the red ones, they can really catch the light. And even though they're stock, they look amazing. Like it may not show up well on camera, but from the angle that I'm currently sitting at, just looking down towards the stones on the swoosh, like they look like they're glowing. And I don't know, there's just something about that I really just, it's just visually pleasing to me. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just me, but I've come to, like I said, I've come to actually really like this design. But the thing that really sold it for me, aside from these side plates, was the champion banner. So on the modern, on the 20, like the current versions, instead of having the gems at the bottom here, you have just this, like you have some gems on the corners, and then you've got like World Heavyweight Champion or Universal Champion, just inscribed, or etched, I guess, whatever you want to say. But they're just like the small lettering in this small little banner section here. And I've never liked that. It's like, you know, why can't you just like let the you know, have a larger thing to tell you what belt it is? I don't know. It's just something that always kind of irks me. It's like it's my least favorite thing of the network logo. So you've actually got like the nice size champion banner there. And this looks really cool. Like I actually really like the way that this looks. So I've seen some people paint the background of this so that only the letters champion are in gold, and then they'll have like a black background. And there was like speculation. Someone said that they thought they saw a version of the belt on TV that had that painted in, and they may have, because WWE has a history of having like a few minor variations of the same belt made so that they can try different ones out and see which one they like the most. With the Undisputed, they actually had like the painted one that people malign when it came to the older replicas. So like I you know, that's something that they may have done, but from watching like, you know, the match where like where Daniel Bryan won it at SummerSlam and then Orton won it from him, especially when Randy Orton was holding it, I don't think they painted it, but it kind of looks like there was like a very thin like black wash applied to the back, and they just kind of like poured it in and then, you know, wiped off the excess. It just looks like there was a little bit of darker coloration to like the background here, but I don't think it was actually painted. But either way, I like the champion banner. It stands out really, really nice. And it was just the WWE Championship at that point. It wasn't the World Heavyweight. They would be merged later. So this worked, this worked really well. So yeah, I've just really came to like this design. Also, there is a slight curve. It is slight. It's not like a massive curve, but again, you don't really need it with this plate, in my opinion. So it's good enough, like, for me, and I'm the one who bought this, so I guess that's the only opinion that I really care about, is the fact that I like this belt, a lot more than I originally thought I ever would. And I actually remember when it was debuted, I sent a picture of it, that I took from the TV to my friend, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about this. But I liked it better than the spinner. So we'll go that far, and I've come to really, I've come to really like it. Overall, though, it would still be, if I were to rank the world title designs, this would still be like near the bottom, right? I started watching wrestling in '93, so if I were to go from like the world titles from '93 to now, this wouldn't be like dead last, but it would be like third from the bottom. But that said, I still like it. I think it's a good replica. It's a nice, heavy replica. I think the stock stones, especially, like I said, the circular ones look great. The other ones they're stock stones, it is what it is. But I really like the design. I never thought I would find myself saying that, but, here I am. So there you go. And I can't remember if I went over the history of who's held this belt or not. But it was only in use for a year and a half. So it was The Rock, Cena, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. And Lesnar only held it basically until the pay-per-view went off air. And because the next night he came out with nothing and got the network logo. But that's, five pretty influential names in the industry holding that title, this version of the title. So it's a very select club. It was a very short-lived version of the championship before they switched everything to the network logo, but it's a belt that's found a way into my heart, I guess. I have a soft spot for it, and yeah, it is what it is. But let me know in the comments below, what were your thoughts on the scratch logo belt when it first debuted, and now that we are, almost 8 years into the network logo belt, let me know if your opinion of the scratch logo version has changed at all, if you've grown more fond of it, if you've sort of grown more fond of like the newer version and don't like this one because it's not as clean looking or whatever with the scratch logo and the stem and the gems for the swoosh. Let me know. The only thing I will say is, be respectful. We're just talking about the championship, the design. If you don't like it, that's cool, but just be respectful about it. Because we just, there's enough negativity and hatred on the internet in 2022. This is just supposed to be a fun video. So if you like the design, cool. If you don't like the design, that's fine as well. Let me know what your favorite world title design is in pro wrestling. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care.